Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful Saturday morning, and we are currently here with Talking Shop with the Boss in the Box. I am Brandon the Boss Blacker, along with my amazing co-host, Lunchbox. That's capital LB. What's up, man?
What's going on, dude? Good morning. We decided to do this in the middle of the day for once. It's weird. It's all bright and shit. Everybody's all vibrant, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and we're not alone. We brought these fucking numpties from Merced, California to come hang out with us today. There we go. That's right.
And this is Coffee with Cursed.
Coffee with Cursed on Talking Shop with the Boss and Box.
4 morning beer, Breakfast of Champions, yes.
So go ahead and introduce yourselves. Who do we got on camera right now?
Shane, drums. Roy, bass.
And you got me, Anthony, vocals.
Yeah. All right. So, it's Saturday morning. We got at least 3 of the members of Cursed in one place. So is Saturday morning your gathered time, your time where you get together and practice, or like when do you guys get together?
Saturdays normally.
Yeah, almost Saturdays afternoon.
So was this a special occasion getting together so early, or what?
Yeah.
Or what?
Shane had a hockey game tonight. My fault.
Shane needed to get to the Bukkake early, so
Now, Sharks game, got tickets, so I had to do this a little early. Second worst in California.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on that one.
So, what's going on in the Curse camp nowadays? Turns out, looks like you guys have a brand new member in Rockstar Cal Lorenzi. How did that whole thing come about?
Well, first off, you're gonna have to pay $10,000 for just mentioning his name. So,
hold on, real quick. Where the fuck is Cal Lorenzi? Off Rockstar and not doing the show. What the fuck?
He's sick in bed right now. He's got pneumonia.
He's got the old man.
So, Roy, you want to say how this all came about? Basically, Cal moved to Nevada, and that caused some issues in Robert Paulson. They were taking a break because of the drummer's issues, and Cal wanted to play. He wanted to gig. He heard, unfortunately, we had lost Drew. Drew moved to Tennessee. And we were in desperate need of a guitarist, and he's like, dude, I need to be on the stage. I need to start playing again. I'm your man. He's willing to commit to commuting all the way down here, so we're happy to have him.
Now that he lives in Las Vegas, how often do you guys see him?
Once every 2 weeks. Yeah, it's good. When we have practice, it's all in, balls in. All day event.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's a good get right there. I mean, you can talk about him now. He's no longer in Fight Club, so you could talk freely about him now.
Exactly. Well, there's some Fight Club still left there, so we're happy to have him. We're glad to have him, man. That's all I'm going to say about the whole situation. He's a great guitarist. He's got a lot of connections. He's bringing in a lot of experience to the band. We're very happy to have him.
Awesome. So you guys finally pressed some CDs for Blood in the Water. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Again,
well, 2 years ago we recorded this. Sadly, we were in negotiations with a label that was starting up. Kind of got dragged out forever. During that whole process, we pretty much lost almost the whole band, except for me.
Yeah, you and Drew.
Drew was with us the whole time until just recently. So, but I finally said, screw it. Let's put the money in it. We'll put it out ourselves. Some of y'all want to hear it. Some of you have been bitching about 2 years that you wanted it in your hand. So we got them.
Any plans to throw it out on digital soon?
We've heard conflicting reports about whether or not some platforms are going out or not. So it's kind of a little hit and miss. The former label put it out, I think, on Bandcamp or Spotify. So it's kind of a little touchy subject with that, you know.
I mean, if anything, too, we can figure out how to put it up on iTunes or something like that, just so that you can buy it there if you want to. If you don't see us anytime soon, you can get, then you can get your hard copy. You can take care of us twice.
We'll get you guys hooked up with hard copies.
Hell yeah. And I can help you guys with digital later.
Oh, for sure. Thank you. Lunchbox is like,
what's up, Lunchbox?
I was saying, it's like The Price is Right. You go ahead and, you get the free gifts under your seat. So, for doing the show, we get a free copy of Blood in the Water.
You get some blood, and you get some blood. We all get blood.
I'll give you some blood out of the back of my head if you want. I mean,
I'll freeze it right now, dude. Let's freeze it ourselves.
Show us the wound, dude. Show us the wound. So you had surgery this week. What was that?
Hold on. Sorry, we got moving camera back here.
It looks like an alien about ready to pop out of the back of his head.
Yeah.
I can just squeeze that thing, dude.
It's pretty gnarly.
11 staples. Not quite like your chair shots there, Dave.
Yeah, 11 staples plus I had it drained yesterday, so I might have to go get it drained again before Monday.
So what the fuck happened?
So I've had what's called a lipoma, so it's basically just a bunch of fatty tissue. I've had that sitting in the back of my head for probably close to 10 years.
He's had a bigger one sitting on top of his shoulders, but that's another story.
Oh, you mean that? Yeah. No. So with that, I just decided, it had a little bit of pain to it, and just decided to get rid of it, and started the process for it, and took over like the last 3 months, just getting prepped and everything. And finally, they pulled it out. I posted a picture online of what it looked like. And right now, it's just a healing process.
It looked like a buffalo hot wing, dude. I don't know why. The spicy type.
Yeah, it looked like either a hot wing or a piece of like the candy brains, like you get, or Jello, like that, like really dark consistency. But I'm actually a lot happier now without it back there. But now the only bad part is I'm gonna have a divot back there for a bit, so the rest of the hair is finally gonna grow out, and not just the top. So
Did you name
look like Roy now?
It's directly underneath his man bun.
Yep, directly underneath the man bun.
Like I said, did you name it?
Is it what? What?
Did you name the growth?
No, I haven't. I have not named it yet, but I was leaning towards Big Red.
Because you removed it.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Big Red. They wouldn't let me keep it. They said it was something about a biohazard or it might cause a zombie apocalypse. I don't know, but at least I got a picture of it.
You put that thing in you get it in color. Yeah, you get it in case, dude. Make a keychain of it.
Oh my. No. So
I want it. Bring it to me.
I was thinking for maybe Big Red, because it was just big and red and ugly. So,
dude, it looked like a peach pit, for Christ's sake, dude. It was nasty. It was really bad.
If you guys are interested, I'll send you guys the picture, and you guys can post it up online along with it later. The picture of what it was.
No, like I said, just post it in the discussion group. That would be a good intro to, hey, by the way, check out our interview with Kirsten and look at this ugly thing that came off Dropkick.
Yep.
Special guest,
my lipoma.
So
it's not my Sharona, it's my lymphoma.
My lymphoma.
There you go. Maybe we should cover that.
You know what? We could do it.
I mean, he's about to call that thing once, so put that microphone right next to it.
Yep.
So I got a question for Roy over there. So, we're talking about the band, so let's get a little into band origins. Now, where did the name Cursed come from, and is it associated with the shitty movie from 2005?
No, it's not associated with
So the story, as I heard it, is it came from a bad night, from some bad sushi he had. It was from the toilet. He cursed the shit out of the toilet. It was just terrible. No.
When this band first got founded, it was me, a guy named Mike Cardenas, old Imposition guitarist Eric Tedder. We're old school guys. We listened to a band called Morgoth from Germany, and one of their best albums was an album called Cursed. When we brought in Ivan into the band, we all talked about it, and it's like we were shocked that at that point there was no other band called Cursed. So we took it. And unfortunately, we found out about 10 years later, there was a punk band from Canada with the same name that put out a couple albums. So during that brief period, we changed them to Cursed AD. we found out they broke up, and I said, "Fuck it, we're gonna go back to Curse." It just sounded better, than what the whole Chaos AD, Sepultura thing going around. But yeah, it came from a German band called Morgoth.
And what are some bands that you guys came from? Because I know that Anthony and Shane came from other bands. Roy, you were the original guy at this point. So what are those other bands?
I had played in a band called Infestation, which was around for a long, long time. Lunchbox knows it. Briefly in a band called Asphyxia.
This is back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Yeah.
When we had hobbitses and everything.
But those were my two previous bands before getting into Curse.
I've been in a few cover bands. I was in a band called Bombs Overhead for a while with some local guys. A few hard rock bands.
Honestly, this was like my third band altogether. The first band that I started actually out of high school was me, Andrew, and Shane. We had started a band called Incarcerated. It was terrible. Absolutely the most horrible thing.
It was absolutely
I have
horrible.
recordings somewhere in the house of shit we did. It was terrible.
Yeah,
That's
really
really
bad.
material.
And then it was a good couple of years in between when I left, when I got kicked out of Incarcerated at the time, to when finally me and Andrew and Shane kind of got back together and we're hanging around. And me and Andrew just
the size of the foot that it takes to kick this ass out of a band.
It took two of them.
It took two of them, yeah.
Yeah.
One for each cheek.
Yeah.
No, but and then after a while, it was just me and Andrew started talking, and we formed Hang the Code with our buddy Kevin, and it just kind of went from there. We went through all the drummers and everything, and then finally this last year, when just the way life kind of hit everybody in the ass really hard, and Andrew was moving, Kevin was doing a lot of stuff at home, and then Kyle was taking the positions he was taking at work, and me being where I was, I just, I was balancing both Hang the Code and Cursed, and finally we couldn't do it anymore. And so I've just been full-time with Cursed now. I think this is 2 years.
I'm a professional.
This is 2 years now, I think.
I've stolen from every band in this area.
Yes.
I've gotten a member from pretty much every band in California.
So you essentially are the village bicycle for.
Yeah, apparently everybody gets a turn. Yeah.
The village
Cursed.
bicycle.
Everyone gets a turn.
Yep.
Dave, when you come in to play drums, the door. We'll push him out the way real quick.
All right,
I feel like
we'll talk about the Sharks game.
You can fill in two spots, buddy. You play two instruments.
Yeah,
No,
I feel like Dave is in that same category where he can jump from every single band in the area.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So actually, Roy, going back, you mentioned, you were the original. You're the last original stand man. You mentioned Mike Cardenas, the Law Noma Death, Ivan. Correct me if I'm wrong. The Law Noma Death. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I not book the first Curse show myself?
You booked us way back when nobody else was giving us a chance. Yes, you were booking us at shows in Las Vegas. We played that church show. I think I don't know if that was you or not. With
that was
with
but the first one
differential. There's an NBA.
Yeah, but wasn't the first Curse show at the Dome in Los Banos?
No, that was an old Infestation gig. That Infestation gig pretty much led to Curse inadvertently.
No, the Infestation gig, which, for a fun story, that was my first show as a promoter, and we booked Infestation to headline and asked them to show up at 2:00 in the afternoon to play at 10:30. And let me just tell you, don't ask Roy to show up that early because there were many beers drank, and Roy got so tanked, and I have video evidence of this, that
you ain't got to go down this road again, bitch.
Unplugged his bass and drunkenly didn't realize he had just unplugged it from the bass and went and spent 10 minutes searching the back of his cab trying to figure it out and troubleshoot technically, and then finally looks down and realizes his cord's just fallen out.
Yeah. 8 hours of sitting outside a treehouse. He was like, what else are we going to do out here? God bless All Day Metal Fest.
Like I said, it started the first time I met you when I was running the Backyard Wrestling organization. So we brought all our shopping cart full of stunts, and we're awesome. And first time I met our old friend Aussie, he was drunk, passed out behind the keyboardist from the Misfits because she had a really nice butt. And
that's why he was there.
He seriously passes out on the side of the stage, like right behind her. And like, you could tell he fell asleep staring up at her.
Australian game.
Yeah, that was how he was moving in. And then they wake him up and are like, dude, we're on in 30 minutes. So he goes to the bathroom, and I go in there. He's washing his face, and he offers me a cigarette. And we talk for a second. I tell him I'm the wrestling guy, and that, you know, we hit people with trash cans and whatnot. And he points at the trash can and kind of exposes his back and is like, take a shot, kid. And so my first meeting with Paul Aussie Telling was to blast him with a trash can.
He played better.
It did wake him up, you know. It sobered him right up.
Oh, damn.
Maybe you ought to tour with us more often. You can bring a trash can with you.
Well, you'll need that.
You'll
That way
need
you can wake
it.
Roy
Yes.
up at least.
He definitely needs it.
You know, Roy's supposed to be taking trash can shots nowadays. Now he just needs soft foods and Geritol. So.
Hey. This is coming for you.
Hey, I'm
You
in that
have
same
kids
boat,
now.
man. I need a lot of icy hot.
Both of you have kids. Good luck with that. You're going to have gray hair.
No, they're already starting. I balded
Dave's
my
going
head.
bald, see? They're both going bald.
I thought Dave was going bald though for the longest time. Anyway,
He's done now.
he's the Arn Anderson of fucking the local metal scene. Shit, guy doesn't age.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh
Look at
my
that.
God. Told you. See, it's all over, guys.
I've been bald for years.
See, it's a Corbin Barron thing, dude. You know,
Yeah.
you tried fighting it with the hair.
Hair
It's all goes
plugs,
back to it, man.
hair plugs and wigs,
Next year you're wearing a
That's
tie
right.
and a suit, dude.
and then next it'll be Disney princess outfit. So it
There
works
you
out.
go. Can we get you a crown
Hey,
now?
so, you know, speaking of monikers and all that other kind of stuff, so, you know, people need to know, it's been kind of a mystery forever. Where did the name Dropkick and where did the name Sparkles come from?
Okay,
wait,
hold on. No. No.
Sparkles is funnier.
No, no.
Yeah. Let's go with Dropkick first.
I'm sure he's actually there with you, isn't he? Lunchbox.
No.
Oh, was he there yesterday?
Brandon? No.
No, not him. Vanek.
Actually, I went and
Oh
saw
my
him
God.
last night. Yeah.
Well, so look, okay.
I'm getting beer.
Hey, can you grab me a beer? I'm gonna need one for this one. No, so the story of Dropkick essentially goes like this. So at a DRI show, at the time when I was still a prospect for the NYDM, obviously Roy is my president, and now I'm the vice president of the chapter. There was some animosity that was going on between Vanek and, you know, obviously a lot of people in the scene, as is known history. It's not telling you anything that isn't, you know, fucking Lunchbox can tell you it. And pretty much what happened was in a bit of drunken stupor, and also just being an asshole. I don't know what happened in the sense of what was going through Mike's head at the time, but he decides to do this to Roy as Mike goes in the bus. He does this. He slapped him. He slaps him or whatever. He slapped him, whatever it was. He brushed his hand over. I took
tagged me in a goddamn pit at a DRI show.
I took offense. Who's telling the story, me or you? Okay. Do you want me to tell? You were not sober.
Oh, that night I was.
So
You were sober?
So what ends up happening is I get pissed off. I run across the pit and I drop kick Mike across the pit.
He protected his president,
And
thinking that was an attack. It was not.
And honestly, a week later, I talked to Vanek. Me and him were cool after that, and I still feel bad to this day. Honestly, it's just that it ended up becoming just kind of the thing that just stuck with me.
The nickname came around because it got reported that he protected his club president by drop kicking somebody, and our national leader was like,
The story made it to the East Coast.
Yeah,
our national leader Becky said he drop kicked somebody, protected his president, patched the guy.
that was. And at the time, it was just the way it was, and now it's a lot better as far as the way the clubs work, and there's no issues between everybody. But back then, it wasn't necessarily war, but it was more like
He was just protecting his old president on the side of a pit.
because I have to protect this guy. Because otherwise, if I don't bring him home, his wife's gonna kill me. So, I can't.
And then she beats them up.
Yeah, I bring him home the way I took him. Maybe he's a little more drunk, but hey, you know what? That's what happens.
That's to be expected. Now, two things. First off, when you drop kicked Mike Vanek, you drop kicked him where again?
Right in the balls.
He did. I'm not gonna lie.
Right in the balls.
I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Mike was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude,
So you
didn't need to go that way."
It
It
happened.
was still funny, but yeah, I didn't need to go that way.
And why the hell are you?
Funny.
And again, I still feel so
I
bad
watched-
about it, Mike.
I
know you're
was
watching.
on
I'm
YouTube
sorry.
of people getting hit in the balls.
I mean,
I laughed every
yeah.
time.
I still love the guy though, so I mean, I can't.
What's that movie Idiocracy? The number one show is Ouch My Balls.
Yeah.
But that's essentially where that came from, and
It's a club nickname.
it just stuck.
Hell yeah. Now, this nickname for Mr. Roy over there has been circulating for years and years and years. Why are you Sparkles?
Hold on, no. Before that, he was landline.
Yes.
He was landline
Landline.
before because the man did not want a cell phone, and didn't get a cell phone until he got married.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Sure, pretty much.
Hey.
You're getting a phone, and that's the end of the story.
Dave's
we-
so stuck.
Dave was laughing so hard he's frozen.
Yeah.
Dave, are you alive?
Yeah, he's probably taking a piss or something.
Oh.
As for the Sparkles nickname, let's just say things were going on at my old house. A female just happened to be looking up at the roof, and I noticed that I had the sparkling texture on the ceiling of the roof. She made a couple comments, and it just sort of took a life of its own. She mentioned a few people, and it just stuck.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know, for you youngins,
No names will be given.
Yeah, but for you youngins that don't know, if you actually look on some of these older houses, the texturing up on the top has some sparklies to it. It's popcorn ceiling.
Yeah.
So just for your millennials that have no idea what we're talking about, I'm sure most of them don't even know what the hell a fucking landline is.
The cutest little, band nickname or whatever club nickname Sparkles comes from an X-rated fucking adventure.
Yeah.
Okay, but now you have to explain what happens almost at every single show because of this nickname.
I get Sparkles everywhere.
Bubbles.
I get glitter bombed everywhere I
He
go.
gets bubbles thrown at him as well.
Oh,
Oh,
did we lose
shit.
everybody here?
Uh-oh. Did we lose you too? Uh-oh. Oh, excuse me. Blacker.
You're still recording,
Get them
though.
connected.
They'll cut it. They'll cut it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Oh, there
There
it
he
is.
is.
Okay, there's one. Is everybody here? Where did he go?
Roy went to get beer.
Yeah. He got more beer. He just came in with beer.
Well, I was unaware that everyone was going to grab the beers.
So wait, all four of them were for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's soccer day, dude. Don't you know? It's football. It's
true.
football day. So
Okay, so we're still missing Dave.
he died.
The discussion turned to R-rated material, and Dave had to leave.
Yes. Because otherwise the wife would be like, how dare you, motherfucker, just listening in on this shit.
No, see, Dave suffers from terrible Wi-Fi. That's what he suffers
I
from.
told you.
He's in Las Vegas. What was he expecting?
Yeah.
He's got to have Jen, hold up the fucking the
He
satellite
frees up
dish.
now.
Yeah, now,
Oh
now
my
we've
God,
almost lost Blacker.
We are cursed. That's what it is. We are cursed. Fucking yeah.
I'm here. Wait, I'm calling. What the hell? What am I
He looks
doing
like
here?
he's sneezing.
We just have we have a lovely facial picture of you, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Looks like you're getting ready to take one.
There we go.
There-
Oh, okay, wait.
there we
Oh,
go.
the whiteness.
he's covered up that blind spot.
Damn it.
We are cursed. That's what it is.
Was the discussion
Yes.
too dirty for you that you had to leave?
Oh, God damn it. Got it.
He's still figuring it out.
Uh-oh.
Old man lunchbox, figure it out. Okay, here we go.
You guys
Come on,
be
Dave,
calling
get caught up.
Back in my day, we had no.
That's all right. We're still recording. We're good.
Yeah.
So we've come to the conclusion that the nickname of Sparkles came from the texture of a roof.
Yes.
The ceiling.
During a Triple X adventure. Yeah.
Yes.
See, I was hoping it'd be something like, you had some weird fascination with Twilight or some bullshit like that.
That's funny you say that because she referenced the roof, and I used to make jokes about her because she went to go see Twilight the movie, and I was like, "Oh yeah, your shit sparkles." There you go. Yeah. So yeah, technically you're kind of correct.
So actually, now that you guys are here, since you guys were asking about it on your little group page about, because I'm going to turn the tables now, is you guys had mentioned about Rockstar meetings or wrestler meetings, things like that. I told you guys I was going to wait to tell you guys about some of the stories I've got. And I'm sure Roy's got a couple. Shane, fuck you. You don't matter in this one. I'm just kidding. So I'll tell you.
Hold on. There's a rule. One story per person per show.
No, fuck you.
So you get one story.
I get one story? Okay.
Per person per show. So each one of you pick your best. Come with your A game, motherfucker. Because this is the big
one.
Well, no, one per person.
One per person.
Well, if anything, I'll tell you about then I'll tell you the Kenny Omega story off air. How about that? I'll tell you about.
Oh God.
Yeah, that one was actually funny. It involved one of my puppies. So
that was a good one.
That was a good. I know, but my Dean Malenko one was just as good. All right. I'll tell you the Kenny Omega one. So
Kenny Omega's God.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so we were in Vegas about 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It was about 2 years ago. My wife had just gotten our puppy, Sasha, and literally just a couple of weeks old or about a month or so old, something like that. She was a little baby, like this big. So the night before at the paper.
At the same time.
Oh, yeah. She met Hiromu Takahashi, Jay Lethal, Tennille Dashwood, and also Kenny Omega. And she was just a little rinky-dink little puppy. But here's what happened. So the night before the pay-per-view, Kenny Omega shows up against Cody. The next day, they announced that he was doing signings before the TV taping. So Roy over here, which actually he's never paid up. Now that I think about it, he said that he would pay money if Kenny Omega were to take a picture with my dog. And so I grab Sasha, and I go up to meet Kenny, and he's talking to me. He goes, "Wait, is that a puppy?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's my wife's puppy. Can I hold it?" I said, "Sure." So he's there holding Sasha, and I get a picture with him holding Sasha, and me, him, and Sasha all together. It made his morning or his afternoon, whatever the hell time it was. Yeah, but
he turned into a little girl pretty much.
Yeah, he did.
Puppy.
Yeah.
This is after the day before. Takahashi and Jay Lethal literally fought over who was going to hold the dog.
Yeah.
We're doing the dude. I'm not kidding you.
Hiromu kept doing this
Hiromu
shit.
was like pulling away, and Jay's like, "Let me see the dog," and they're like, "No," because their boots were right next to each other. They were fighting over the dog.
Yep, all over my puppy.
Oh
So that was the fun thing. Her first trip to Vegas ever, and she got to meet tons of wrestlers. So that was always fun.
You want my
Dude, that's
story,
awesome.
dude? I know I've told these guys this before, and I know I've told Dave, but way back in the old WCW days, me and my friends, we went to go see a house show in Fresno, and one of the main events was Randy Savage versus Diamond Dallas Page in a street fight. And the match is going on, and we're doing a thing, and we had just gotten back from getting our beer. So I've got 2 beers. My brother Brian's got 2 beers. Scotty Whitfield, shout out. He's got his 2 beers. And we're like, right on. We're going to see some shit. And Page beat Savage. And this is the old NWO kind of days. And the Japanese contingent of the NWO comes running down to jump Page after the match. And it's like, we're talking like Muta and I think, what the hell is his name? I can't remember the rest of the Japanese, but they chase Page up into the crowd, and we're like, wow, we're going to see some shit because Page's got to head in our way. Page comes into us. Everyone mobs Page. Page flies into us. He knocks my brother over. He slams into Scott. He knocks me over. I'm going down. I'm falling backwards like this. Mind you, this is some 20 years ago, so I'm a little bit thinner back then, but he catches me as I'm going down, pulls me back up, and says into my ear, "Sorry about the beers, bro." And he gets taken away, dude.
Mind you, there's $27 worth of beers on the ground, which nowadays is probably about 50-some bucks. But literally, that was the most shocking thing. He just literally, as I'm going down, catches me by my flannel shirt, pulls me back up and says, "Sorry about the beers, bro." Coolest thing ever, dude.
All right, so
You kind of sounded
my
sounded like
story isn't
"What about
wrestling.
the beers, bro?"
Yeah. I never got those beers. It was sad. My brother's Birkenstocks got soaked. They were damaged, dude. He had to go home barefoot. Dude, it sucked, dude.
You know, that should be a shirt, though. We didn't
We
make
had,
that shirt.
we had no beers. It was they closed the beer stands. My brother's barefoot. It sucked, dude.
We should make that a
Holy
shirt, though. Sorry about the beers, bro.
No shit, dude. My brother's face.
Make it happen, man. Sorry about the beers, bro. Cursed.
And we've done that before to other people.
My story isn't wrestling. It's not even metal. It's hard rock. But we all remember the Fat Cat days, right?
Right.
Great club in Modesto.
Yeah.
So
Sticky floors all over the place,
yeah,
shitty
sticky
bathrooms,
floors.
amazing.
It
was a dive bar
it was the
disguising
best
itself as a
place.
nightclub. It's the
Yes.
greatest thing ever.
It really was. So
Bad things in the green room.
yeah.
Yeah,
So the hard rock band. We lost Dave again.
we lost it.
We
Fucking.
said bad things in the green room.
Right.
Dave disagrees again.
Yes.
Is he on like age control?
Yeah.
I think so.
When he
If
cut,
it goes R-rated, Dave just gets cut off.
I told you, Jen kicks his ass. That's what it is, man.
Jen, let him speak.
So anyway, go Shane.
All right, so so hard rock band Taproot was coming into town, and I knew everybody that worked at Fat Cat, so I go down there early one day. They're playing. Talk to one of my friends that works there. He's like, "Hey, you want to meet the band?" I'm like, yeah, sure, might as well. So we go up into the red room, which is above the stage, and it's me and probably about 4 other people. These other people, they won the chance to be able to meet the band. I just happened to got lucky. But we're talking about all the stories, like haunted houses, stuff like that. And I was telling stories that I had heard of how the Fat Cat's haunted, just friends of mine that worked there, stories that they've told me. Well, I'm right in the middle of a story, and the band walks in, and Hugo, the lead singer, his girlfriend was there, and she sits down right next to me on the couch, and she said, "Is this place haunted?" I said, "Well, the stories I've heard, yeah." She's like, "You need to tell me everything. I just got the creepiest feeling whenever I come into here." So I eventually told her every single story that I had heard about the Fat Cat being haunted. And then after that, we all took pictures, and then they all went out and probably did coke or something like that.
And then Shane went and jerked himself off vigorously at the thought of it.
Well, that's a lovely ending to that story.
Yeah.
That's the happiest ending.
Yeah.
So as we're waiting for Lunchbox to figure out how to use technology, there we go.
Hey, Dave, welcome back.
Welcome back to the land of the living.
Dude, the joys of living in the damn country. All of a sudden, like my Comcast, the highest speed, best quality internet as they advertise, fucking crashes twice in the middle of a goddamn important podcast here.
Hey, you know what? You know what? Then go tell your wife to hold the fucking satellite dish right the way it's supposed to go. Or whatever. Same shit. It's all the same. It's to get in the country.
Did you put
So-
more room on your antennas?
Go turn those rabbit ears a little bit.
Now it's gone sideways.
Yeah, now you're sideways.
Now he's sideways. Hold on.
What? Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go.
There you
Hey.
All right.
Go
All right,
ahead,
so-
Brandon.
So as you missed Shane's Taproot story at the Fat Cat. So my story is I met Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit, and so my story with him is he was playing with his other he was playing with his other band Blacklight Burns out in Modesto at some hotel out there a few years ago. And-
Clarion?
Yes, it was
The
the Clarion.
Clarion?
I was
Oh my
there.
God.
I was there.
Yeah, it was the Clarion. Yeah.
I had to play at the Clarion.
Yeah, sometimes.
Shame.
Which was funny because this was the band that played with us. I was in Giving the Devil's Due at his time, and Nothing
I
But
think that
Losers was
the
on the
first
bill
time
too.
I met you, actually.
Was it?
It might have been. It was about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Why is Dave doing yoga?
It was longer than that. I got to stretch, man. I'm old. My back hurts and shit.
Did you not see that he had peanut butter on his dong with the dog? I mean, that's why he was leaning back.
Come on, bro.
He's
But
licked
it's not-
the balls.
But it's not cheating because it's my dog, so it's cool.
You're doing yoga and smoking at the same time, dude. That's kind of counterproductive, man.
Don't worry about what I do. There are many secrets to my longevity, Roy. This is why I'm as vibrant as I am. Fuck you.
I'll put that on your
All right,
tombstone.
Yeah, remember that. So basically, like, so they get there, like it's nothing but losers giving the Devil's due. Some band called Fart Barf.
Yeah,
And,
I forgot about them. Called what?
Yeah. Yeah,
Fart
I
Barf.
heard
They
that.
wore masks. They wore these weird
Yeah,
masks.
I'd wear a mask too if I was in a band called Fart Bart.
And they had two keyboards. It was really weird.
So was that another Stig Murder ripoff?
No, it was
Or
even
was it a loser
weirder.
ripoff?
It was.
I don't know. I can't tell anymore
Yeah,
these
it
days.
was really weird.
So here comes Wes Borland, who, whether you like Limp Bizkit or not, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. They've played shows with 500,000 people and yada yada yada. They've done big things. Anyways, he walks into the hotel. He looks into the giant conference room where this show is being held, and he walks in. He goes, "Huh? Well, the PA system is on stands." And he like turns around, walks away, and goes, "I need to go to the bar."
We've all had those shows, dude. This was after he was on his phone, though, for like 20 minutes, bitching at whoever booked it, saying that he didn't want to play the show.
Yes. Which, by the way, like the show was great. Everything was great, but like his initial attitude coming into the show was, "Well, fuck me." What did I get
Have we all not had that experience before? We're like, wow, who booked this shit?
Yeah, but at the same time, though, it's like you're in one band and now you're like, oh, I'm gonna go off and start another band. Guess what? You got to start at the bottom all over again.
Yeah,
On the flip side, man, on the flip side, last year we played with fucking Active Defiance, and I'm looking at two guys who I had seen literally the year before with Megadeth at the Hard Rock in fucking Vegas, dude, on a big ass stage with Motorhead. Next thing you know, they're playing the Full Circle in Fresno on a dinky ass little stage at a small little brewery. But those guys got the cool attitude. They're like, we're really cool. We're playing the music we want to play. We're doing what we want to do. Yeah. So there's a flip side to that, you know.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was at that Active Defiance show, and you're right. Those guys were super cool.
Yeah. Sig Murder was on that show. They were cool as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, Sig Murder yelled at me because I bought my tickets off you.
Yeah, I mean, in conclusion, like they stayed around after the show and talked to everybody for like 2 hours and signed everything. Was cool as shit. Like, but his initial reaction is coming in going, "Well, the PA system is on stands. Fuck this. I need a beer."
Dude, I don't know. I knew that at some places we play, and we ain't shit. I'm like, wow.
But you're the one booking them, so you should know.
I don't know if you remember when they finally got up on stage. The first thing that he said to the crowd was something like, "Well, I don't even want to be here, but I'm here, so fuck it, let's do it."
Yes, you're right. And they
When they say hi to the crowd,
fun, though.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck y'all! I don't want to. I didn't want to do it, but the check cleared, so here we go.
So we should intro that every time we play. The check cleared, so we're playing.
Sounds like something
there
Jim
they
Cornette would
play
say.
in front of 20 people.
Jim Cornette's not saying anything right now.
Let's not talk about Ethiopia here, okay?
We're gonna talk about Ethiopia.
Well, he doesn't have a bucket of chicken in his bag, but he does have something that would squeeze out some juice right now.
All right, so Cursed.
It's okay.
All right, so on February 16th, you guys are playing with Ingested in Fresno. What are some other notable bands you have shared the stage with, and what has been your favorite show in the last 5 years?
Oh, wow. Well, some of the guys haven't been in the band for 5 years, but some of the better bands we played with as Cursed, obviously Exodus a couple times, Suicidal, Death Angel, Exhumed, the Incantation.
Those
guys were really cool. Those guys were fucking great, dude. Yeah, we played with them in Fresno.
The last show we did with
we played with them in Modesto. And they're like, "Oh, you guys are here? Cool, right on." There's actually a long line of bands we've played with, but probably the coolest guys lately is probably been the Incantation guys. Yeah. They were really, really cool.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the other one, like, at least for me though, because in the two bands that I've been in was Lich King. when we played with when Hang the Code played with Lich, we opened up for Lich King.
Actually, Kurtz was on that show.
Yeah, you guys were on that
It
show.
was at the Metro.
Yeah,
old
Metro, the side room. Shout out to my buddy Chris Contos for that one, and actually for Amy for getting us on there last minute. And the best thing about it was the bass player and the drummer come up to us after and go, "We don't want to play anymore." Like, and we're like, "What happened? Who pissed you guys off?" They go, "No, how are we supposed to follow you guys?" So that was one of the better shows I played with Hang the Code. I would say now playing with Curse, I think my favorite one was probably the first real show we did, which was in Fresno with Exhumed and Incantation. That one was pretty cool.
I've known the Exhumed guys for probably close to 20 years, so it was cool to be on stage with them. But like I said, John and the guys in Incantation were really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
We got lucky enough that 2 nights later, Amy Strong needed an emergency show because Incantation wanted a gig back in this area. We got asked to come in and play. They needed gear. They're like, "Oh, the guys from Curse are playing." We saw their gear. We love their gear. We'd love to play with them again and use their stuff. And like I said, really, really nice guys, but very cool.
So I got a question for Shane. So Shane, are you still playing that giant snare?
Yes, I am.
The one that's not colored like the rest of his kit?
No, it is not.
Yes.
It is sparkly gold. It's a old 1960 something Ludwig. It's a marching snare.
Ooh.
Yes, it's 15 inches by I believe
That's what she said.
I believe by 11 and a half feet. So it is a big motherfucker.
No, dude, those old Ludwig gears, man. I used to have my first kit I bought for myself was this beat out like 1968 Ludwig performance kit, and the kick drum to this day, I've not been able to get another one that sounds that good. Like that thing sounded triggered just by tuning it right, and I miss that motherfucker so badly.
Well, they were so big, and the wood that they used back then had so many pores in it that you just can't mimic it anymore.
No.
$5 says it's probably made out of Brazilian rosewood, if anything.
Possibly.
And then now you can't get that anymore.
Yeah.
Even for the classical guitars that like the ones that I've wanted, you can't get Brazilian rosewood anywhere. So, you know.
I remember seeing it at either Toots or Devastated Fest. I can't remember which one. Going, what the fuck is this thing? As a drummer, I was thoroughly perplexed. Like, what? Why? Who has a snare drum this big? And then I saw you play it, and I realized, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Unfortunately, it's him. Shane's compensating for a few things.
Yeah, no. It's something. I mean, it's really cool. I've never seen any other drummer. You know, most drummers use something like a 14 by 6.5. You know, that's a regular snare. You know,
or a piccolo snare.
Yeah, some drummers use piccolos.
He couldn't afford a big truck, so he got a big fucking. Yeah, exactly. Compensating, dude. Compensating.
It is really cool, and it's different, and it gets people to come up to me and like, dude, what the fuck is that?
And I will say, as a vocalist, it does stand out, especially because, like I said,
because we got to hear him.
Well, my previous, that too, but like my previous band, Kyle used to use a piccolo, or and so I was used to the way his snare sounded compared to what Shane has now. So I'm like, okay, I know exactly where we are sometimes, especially if we don't have monitors or things of that sort. I know where we are based on his drumming and what where he is with the snare. So, I could pick my drummers out of a lineup essentially.
that if he gets out of line, we throw picks at him.
Yes, he can't go nowhere.
We can hear him now. It's like, no, fuck no.
All right, so seen as cursed, most of y'all are wrestling fans. So for the podcast and for the
None of us
YouTube,
caught dead wearing a fucking goddamn Baron Corbin shirt. By the way.
Oh, actually, I didn't. I'm not wearing a wrestling shirt today, but I figured I'd pull this one out just in case. That one, the older Sig Murder shirt that I have.
Oh,
Laundry day, nothing clean. No, I actually picked it out specifically for today.
So I got a podcast challenge for Cursed right now.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit.
So seeing as most of you are wrestling fans, can Can all three of you and explain to Shane what a promo is if he doesn't know? Can you guys promo against Dave and I? Not a competition. I want you guys to cut a sick ass promo against Dave and I.
Okay, what's a promo?
So a promo is basically you talk
shit at somebody.
Yes. But you basically tell them how you're gonna kick their ass, and yeah.
Well, you know, brother.
Yeah. Basically, look at Hulk Hogan. Every time, let me tell you something, brother. Every time I'm here, that's what he's doing. He's cutting a promo every time.
And in case you're on your Legion of Doom, well,
or if you're the Ultimate Warrior, you start the stars and the space aliens, and I don't know. Yeah, honestly, I can't. I know for damn sure my ADD goes all over the place, and I can't come up with a cohesive sentence. So, Roy, I'm leaving it to you,
dude,
buddy.
if you want us to talk shit about you two, I mean, come on. You got a goddamn Baron Corbin shirt on, for fuck's sake, dude. Really? Baron Corbin.
Well, you know what? Bald guys got to stick together. So, I mean, there's that.
Dave, your partner has a Baron Corbin shirt on.
He's a lesser man because of it.
I understand there's called laundry and you have nothing else to wear, but what the fuck? Take it off. Take that shirt off. Do it. Oh, I'm blind. What the hell? Put it back on. Was that good enough? Come on, dude.
No,
Baron Corbin.
Okay. That's
a Bergen bit at Bungle. What the hell, dude?
like I said.
Woo! There you go. You got the Ric Flair woo in it too.
Like I said, that's coming up for on the spot. But now, fuck that. We challenge you guys to go ahead and cut a promo on us, independent of the show. Work it out. Take some time. Educate Shane a little bit. You know, he could be the guy that's just like, yeah, tell him, Roy, or whatever.
Well,
are really going to be the true wrestling fans. Now, fuck that. We want a promo within the week in our discussion group, Cursed versus Talking Shop.
we will do that, man.
We'll do it, yeah.
You're going down, boys. You're going down.
Going down. And it's cool. I mean,
I'm just going to freeze frame a picture of that you in that shirt. What the? Come on, man.
I'm starting to wonder about if the old man over there has senility because he keeps repeating the same shirt. Baron Corbin shirt. Baron Corbin
Stop looking at it, dude.
I mean,
it's like a mole, dude. It's just like a mole on somebody's face. It's there.
It's like a big red target, dude. It's like I can't stop aiming at it.
Oh, wait.
Hey, you can't deny the fact that the end of days is one of the best finishers ever.
Oh my god. The end of days, really?
Really? No.
Really?
Yeah. It's such a sick ass finisher.
No.
Hold on, let me get my Miz on. Really?
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 All right. So, now we've done a lot of the music stuff or whatever. Let's get into a little bit of wrestling. Sorry, Shane. I know that's not a little more foreign to you. I know.
I'm just joking, Shane. No, you're good. He's been watching AEW with us. He knows what's up.
He's trying.
He's trying at least. So.
All right, so how are you enjoying AEW? Like, are you preferring that over the WWE product? I know, like us, you guys watch a lot of wrestling as well. So
without a doubt, AEW is there's AEW, NXT, and then New Japan, and then there's those two other programs on Friday and Monday, dude.
Honestly, for me,
that's what it is.
I don't even watch Monday Night Raw or whatever day of the week SmackDown it is anymore. I watch New Japan Wrestling, especially at work, because there's nothing else to do at work at night. So pull it up on my laptop and at work, and I'm catching up like on World Tag League or whatever's going on at the time. I try to watch AEW every week. I record it, but I also watch it as it goes down because luckily Wednesday's my day off as well. And then I try to catch up on NXT. Like if it's something really good, really important, then I'll go back and watch it with NXT, or like SmackDown when NXT invaded a couple weeks ago. But aside from that,
I really can't understand how NXT is part of the WWE program because NXT is so good, and Monday Night Raw and SmackDown are like, what is going on?
To me, it's a difference. It's a difference in styles now. The fact that Triple H is doing it the way the old school kind of WCW, the old territory days, which I enjoy because I grew up watching WCW more than WWF or WWE, whatever it was.
The night to watch wrestling is Wednesday night, dude.
It is, yeah. And those of us that grew up in the Monday Night Wars or who lived through the Monday Night Wars, can kind of relate to it, how the new this is going on now, but it's apples to oranges. I mean, it's nothing compared to what it was with Monday Nitro and Raw going on in their the early 90s, the mid 90s with how it was in the Attitude Era and everything. With now, it's just pretty much everybody's still split down the middle. You either pick one or the other. Personally, for me, I like a lot of the guys that are in NXT because I've seen them, whether I saw them in Ring of Honor or with New Japan. Those guys like Adam Cole that were in Bullet Club, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, we've seen them. But at the same time, I'm seeing guys that I've met as well with the Young Bucks, Kenny, Cody, Hangman, and I'm finding guys. I'm not gonna lie, I actually enjoy Sonny Kiss. I think Sonny Kiss is awesome. I like Orange Cassidy for what he is. Cassidy. Beretta has actually grown on me. I hated him when he was with Roppongi guys, but he's grown on me. Best friends, I love those guys. So I'm actually enjoying it, and to me, it's becoming very much the reminiscent days of WCW, where you had the long term booking, or you had everything that went with it along the way.
AEW right now is in this slow build. Obviously, the Bucks have been smart enough. They're jobbing themselves out, making other teams look better.
Because I'm not gonna lie, Roppongi's good.
Orange Cassidy, that shit is fucking hilarious, dude. I can't tell the dude. Every time he does that soft kicks, I just die. You watch what they do. Some of the female wrestlers, obviously WWE's female wrestling is way light years ahead of what's going on in AEW. But they're giving the girls some time.
Yeah.
They're interested. I mean, Darby Allin. Jesus.
Oh, I love that guy, dude. That's
what they're doing with him is phenomenal, dude.
That's one of my favorite wrestlers right now, dude. His match with Mox the other night was just
that was amazing the other night.
God bless Moxley and Jericho for both making him look like $1 million, dude.
Yeah.
Those guys, both those matches made him look like $1 million.
When we have a bit of the bubbly.
The bubbly.
The bubbly.
But right now, AEW, you got to give AEW a slow build because they're trying to build their stars. They're trying to make these guys that most people haven't heard of. Whereas the WWE is like using star power, especially on NXT right now. I mean, just throwing Finn Balor in there. I mean, this past Wednesday, they had Becky Lynch open up. I mean, they're throwing everything they can to bring those numbers up.
And then you guys like Seth Rollins is garbage.
AEW is a breath of fresh air. They're doing what they can.
I mean,
at the same time, dude, for me, I just watch what's going on over in Japan, dude. What they're doing in Japan is just New Japan is just great, dude.
Yep.
The tournament going on right now.
1 second.
So what are two wrestlers that can never do wrong by you? I mean, two as in one for you and one for you.
For me, I've always been a fan since I first saw him, Hangman Page.
Is Yokozuna still around?
He's dead.
He's dead, you dumbass. Jesus.
Honestly, for me,
he tried being funny and he got fucking burned.
I liked him.
I would say for me, probably maybe Chris Jericho, because I mean there was a gap of time between when
everything Chris Jericho does is gold.
It's amazing, and I enjoy it. I love Chris Jericho, always have. Even when he was a heel, I hated him, and he did his job.
The man constantly recreates himself. He went from the list to going to New Japan.
Armbar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He went to New Japan. He did his thing there. Suddenly, he's the Painmaker. Comes back over here. Now you got the bubbly.
He's got a ticket. He's
making fun of the scarf. I mean, for Christ's sake, this Wednesday, dude. I can't say I'm sorry. I mean, come on. Those of old enough recognize that shit. We laughing our asses off.
No, Chris Jericho has always just really been like you said, reinventing himself. He was the greatest in-ring tactician back in the day. Flip-flop fly, great psychology, all of that. And he was funny. Well, now at his advanced age, he can't quite move like he used to. So for it with just being awesome.
Yeah, that's the thing is WWE now is showing that, okay, they're building all these pre-cookie cutter kind of shit. But the guys that they bank on. But the guys that stand out are the guys like AJ Styles or Gallows and Anderson, Nakamura, guys that came from Japan or that came from the kind of in a way the outlaw territories in the sense the way that it is now, where these guys grew up in a system where there's nothing. Whereas back in our day, watching guys like Rey Mysterio or Psychosis or Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko, you had those guys who came from Mexico, Japan, other parts of the country, and maybe they weren't good promos, but the guys could fucking wrestle. You know, for me though, all time, my favorite still is Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper for me is the greatest of all time. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Hulk Hogan would not be around if it wasn't for Roddy Piper. WrestleMania and WWE would not be where they are without Roddy Piper, hands down. And then right behind him is Eddie Guerrero, because Guerrero was a hell of a heel too, you know, and he could do both. But that's just me, just for myself.
I always say
Right.
one thing that changed the wrestling wars was Malenko and Benoit and Eddie and all those guys jumping over.
Yep.
They brought over a new talent level that kind of aided the WWE in the Attitude Era.
They gave it that shot that it needed, whereas the Attitude Era in WWE, even though they started pulling away, was more based off the personality, more rough and tumble style as far as like a brawl with the Rock, you know, the slower classic style. And then the Radicals show up and they bring that high pace, and they might not have as much personality on a microphone, but it was essentially the guy that could run his mouth over in WWE meets the guy that can back it up, didn't have to run his mouth.
Make that match so much better. Chris Benoit against the bigger guys. Eddie Guerrero against the bigger guys. Even to the point Saturn against the bigger guys.
Yep.
Yeah, and the almost collided and just made for a beautiful mix. It was like the first time somebody tried to do something, you know, sweet with bacon. You know, the first time you saw that like candy bacon donut. It's weird.
No. Voodoo Donuts.
But see, like I went back and was watching the, you know, old Monday Night Raws from the Attitude Era, and realistically, I was not impressed. I really was not impressed because it was garbage. All they had was everything was banked on Stone Cold Steve Austin and then The Rock as time went on. WCW had the better mid card and lower card, but yeah, they had the old timers as the main eventers. WWE only had the main eventers. They had no mid card.
Once Chris Jericho jumped over, they realized these smaller wrestlers who are phenomenal on the microphone or phenomenal in the ring can make these big guys,
except for Funaki,
look that much better.
Except for Funaki. Funaki can do no wrong.
And they saw one thing, we know we can steal Benoit, we can steal Malenko, we can steal Saturn, and bring these guys, and Guerrero especially. We can bring these guys over, and even if they're getting sacrificed at these bigger guys, they made these bigger guys look that much better.
Yep.
So let me throw in an interesting journalistic question here. So since we're all, you know, big Monday Night Wars fans, we're all huge on that era, and that when WWE finally took the win was when they really put that blend together of the wrestlers from WCW and the personalities from WWF, and just bang, perfect. Now, back then, one of the reasons why wrestling was such something that was so good, quote unquote, like you said, you went back and watched it, wasn't that good, but it was cool. You know, everybody wore a Stone Cold shirt. Everybody had a DX shirt.
We stopped band practice to watch Monday Night Raw and Monday Night, you know, fucking Nitro and shit.
Now, let me ask you guys this. What do you guys think it would take to make wrestling hit that level again? And who do you think could really blend that personality? I mean, you take somebody like Kenny Omega, and he's great to wrestling fans. Or you take somebody like, right now, John Cena, who is not great to wrestling fans, but he's awesome to the general public. Who do you see
What makes wrestling cool now?
No, I'm saying, what do you think could make it that huge again? Do you see anybody that you, in your opinion, you think could shoot it to that Stone Cold level, that Hogan level, that Rock level?
I know you're going to call me a mark, but I think it's already happened. I think
The Bullet Club did it.
That logo was cool. Everyone saw that logo. That logo looked bad as hell. You had the Young Bucks, who were like the Be Hot tag team. Their promos were on fire. You had Kenny Omega, who a lot of people thought was the best wrestler in the world, up there just spitting fucking fire on everybody, dude.
In English and in Japanese at that. So, I mean, you know.
And you know what? The WWE, God bless them, they snatched up AJ Styles, and he's like, you know what? He's a Bullet Club member. You know, let's kind of use that a little bit with the Too Sweet and everything like that, you know. That made it cool to be a wrestling fan again. All of a sudden, you know, you're watching a lot of bands. I can't remember who was the big band.
There's bands on. We've seen like video of, and they're wearing Villain Club shirts. They're wearing Bullet Club.
I think dude from Slipknot was wearing a Villain Club shirt.
Yeah, Corey Taylor.
Yeah.
See, my thing is this. So I don't ever think that wrestling will ever hit that pinnacle like it did during that Monday Night War era. It'll get close. It's getting close again, but it'll never hit that point where it becomes bigger than itself, where it became pop culture, where even guys like Shane, who probably didn't watch wrestling, you mentioned The Rock or you mentioned Triple H or John Cena. Those guys are all everybody knows who they are.
John Cena's almost like
Right.
a cartoon character. He's almost a thing, but like I said, the Bullet Club thing was a little bit like it was cool to be part of that. You were wearing the shirts, the logo itself just looked cool. The guys who were in the group at that time, were cool. Now you got the Bullet Club, OC, you got the OGs, you got pretty much the Undisputed Era is a kind of a Bullet Club kind of thing.
Like I said, we're running off here. Like I said, I'm asking, who do you think could, like you started to get their drop kick, who do you think could make it that cool again if it were to happen? Like, what, like you said, the Bullet Club was kind of that.
You want the next guy who might bring it, Darby Allin.
I can see Darby Allin.
Darby Allin, without a doubt.
Well, me being an outsider, what about Chris Jericho?
Well, Jericho's
already been there, and
But he's in a band. He's in wrestling.
he can bring everything together, which is true.
But if you
And
want
I
somebody
feel
new,
like
if you
he
want
is-
somebody new, you want fresh blood and a fresh look. It's got to be Darby Allin, dude.
Yeah,
He's got the skateboarder thing. He's kind of got the cool music going on, the half skull face. He's a young guy.
No, you know who's going to do it? It's going to be Seth Rollins. I'm just kidding. No, fuck that clown.
I want to punch on the back of your head.
No, fuck that clown. I hate Seth Rollins. I hate fucking Roman Reigns. John Moxley's cool though, so I don't care.
Well, I was with you on Darby Allin. I thought it was super cool on Dynamite the other night to look out in the crowd and start seeing those half painted faces.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Dude,
oh
this guy's
shit!
been on television what? 3 times? 3 times, and he's already got a fan base like that, dude.
Yep.
This is a young guy who's got a really good wrestling set. Goddamn, Moxley, God bless him. Jericho, both of them made him look like $1 million in the ring, dude.
And so did Cody.
Cody originally too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I didn't know Darby Allin was till that
Cody.
Cody
Guys
match.
in that company have said, "I want to work with this kid."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even if the kid loses, he still
he's
gets
lost
put over.
every match, but he actually tied Cody, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Was
He
it time
limit draw? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it was a draw.
They've made him look phenomenal, dude. And like I said, he could be the face of that company for years to come, dude.
Yeah, and
He hasn't cut a lot of promos, so we need to see if his promo game is up to snuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's wrap up wrestling a little bit and do a couple more curse related questions, and let's wrap up the interview. So, what are
real quick, hang on. Real quick, just because we haven't done it and we wanted to do 2, let's go ahead and play our first curse song.
Okay.
Okay. So thanks, by the way, Roy, for shooting me the tracks. And, this was a bitch. It was really tough to pick. I'm going to start with one that's fully original, and then the one I want to close this out with is there's another rock star story behind it. So let's go ahead and start. You guys have been around, as we know, forever. Sadly, half the lineup isn't even on this album, but it was nice to go back and hear Kurt's voice. But you guys have always been coffin crushing metal.
For about 15 years, man.
So I want to go ahead and kick this off and wet that whistle with Crushed in a Coffin right now by our boys in Cursed on this segment of Talking Shop with the Boss of Box. Brendan, hit the button.
Just talk mirror, I reveal
Y'all like that?
Okay, that was the song.
Skill technicians there, man. Skill technicians.
Kayfabe. Kayfabe.
This is what happens when you're a Baron Corbin shirt. Just saying. Just saying.
You gotta keep kayfabe.
Yeah, so I mean that's fucking cool, man. And you know we're gonna edit all this together and make it look nice on YouTube and everything. So you know it's gonna yes. I mean I can't fix what the doctors broke, but
You know what? That's fine.
So what I like to usually ask bands is I usually kind of ask them a lot of the same things. But one thing I like to ask is, what is your fantasy band that you would want to go on tour with? And I know each one of you have one.
Oh wow. That's tough. For me, it probably Impale, just because I've known those guys for a long time. It fits the music style. I've known Leon forever. It was a cool thing. We played a gig about a year and a half ago up in Oregon. I'm sitting there setting my pedals up, and some guy's like, "Get the fuck up the stage." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I look up, it's Leon. Del Muerte looking saying, and he's just big ass teaser smile. I've known Raul, their drummer, forever. We had to smuggle him across the border a couple times, which was
a story for another time.
Yeah, it's a story for another time.
For the next,
Hopefully,
interview.
nobody from the ICE is watching. You know,
Yeah.
That for me would be a good band, either Impaled or / Ghoul, since half the members are they kind of intermix. But that's for me.
I don't know. For me, it's probably kind of a toss up. If I could do both, I'd be happy. Well, actually, there's three, but I'll give you the two. More than likely Exodus, because I have yet to see Exodus play, and I haven't played with Exodus because every time they've come through, I've either had to work or I've had family things going on. The other one would probably be The Haunted, just because Roy was the one that got me turned on to The Haunted, especially more when I joined up with Cursed, and kind of give me an idea of where to go vocally, or and so that's something I would actually enjoy, because I bet those guys would be badass to fucking play with and probably party with anyway. The very last one, which would have been with Hang the Code, would have been Municipal Waste, just because just
Yes.
because I love those guys, and I keep running into Tony Foresta everywhere I go when I've gone to see either him with Municipal Waste or Iron Reagan. So, you know, I probably think they'd be pretty badass to party with as well.
All right, show the camera to Shane.
Wanna
We
play
can't
with
see
Tinks?
Shane.
No. Me, it's probably a band that has been around for a while, but is just getting back out there. I'd say Violence.
That would actually be cool.
That's
Yeah.
I would kill for that too.
I mean, I've met one of the guys. Ray is a real cool guy, and he even said, he's like, dude, we should play a show together. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
please.
We met Sean Killian too, though. At that show up at the brewery up in the Santa Rosa area.
He's young.
Oh, that was Rob.
Don't
That was
know
Rob.
him
We
as
met
well.
Rob Flynn. We met Rob Flynn at Toots.
Yeah.
So that was the story and a half. Oh, sorry, we're talking to Joey over here too because she's asking. And you know, and then obviously we've been friends with like guys like Chris Contos from the club, and you know, so stuff like that. You know, actually, it would be kind of fun to go out with Jeff though too. Possess.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fun. I'm sorry, we're over here rambling about what we would like to do, and then we have the multiple
all
Technicolor.
Yeah, like Dave's given us.
Dave's given us a rave.
Yeah,
what's
he's
going on now.
glow sticks and shit out of you know.
I just have to say, Dave is the most professional podcaster ever. He has no idea what it's like to be on video.
Should we
And
go fund
I
to
don't know
get
what
Dave
he's
a better Wi-Fi reception?
I don't know what he's doing. This phone is
Now
in his
he's running
damn.
on the street.
He's running for the cops.
Did you go to the store or something?
Dave, did you escape your wife? Is she chasing you?
Let us know that you're safe, please. And
turned his volume
daughter's
down.
gonna die here soon.
No, my bad, guys. My dog got out, so I had to go run and chase her down.
Well, just know my phone. Hey, just know my phone's at 20%, so the phone may drop off at some point.
Oh,
Like
It's
I
all
said,
right.
my bad, guys. This is not my fucking day. Internet crashing, dogs getting out. Fuck.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Well, I gotta go. I know Shane's gotta go to a Sharks
doesn't
game,
have to.
which is pretty awesome. But
Yeah.
tell us
Right.
what is next for Curse? What's going on with Curse recently?
World
Like, what's going on?
domination.
Yes!
We are secretly working with Cobra and Cobra Commander to rule the world, and everything will be cursed.
Right now we got one definite confirmed 100% show with Ingested in Fresno. Their 10-year anniversary of one of their bigger albums. So buy tickets from us, please. Yes. But the big thing right now is we are working and getting Cal
Broken in.
caught up to date with
New
with
songs.
tunes and writing new material. He's got some new tunes that he's bringing us. We're working on a few of them right now.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what we've got going right now. Is that we're working on new material, getting Cal caught up, and just kind of dealing with the day-to-days of what it is to be cursed and what it is to now have Cal Lorenzi Rockstar trademark. A lot.
Cal Lorenzo.
Trademark.
John,
All right, all right,
give you our money.
All right, so we got Dropkick, Sparkles, Rockstar. Does Shane have a nickname?
Bitch face. Shame.
No.
Shame.
No.
Shame.
Shame.
It's the Shane of.
Shame. Shame.
No, I think we're gonna start calling you West Borland or something. I don't know.
West
Something.
Borland.
I don't know. We're gonna call you New Metal. I don't know because you're gay. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'll give you shit anyway.
New Metal Shane.
New Metal Shane, yeah.
All right, so where can people find you guys on the social medias?
You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. Our Instagram as well. What is it? Curse666 for our Twitter.
Curse NorCal Metal.
That's what it is. Just Curse NorCal Metal. You can find me on Twitter. I follow nothing but porn stars and wrestlers. So if you like that kind of content, awesome. If not, fuck you. You can find me at Dropkick666. You can find, like I said, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram,
or big lump on the back of my head.com.
Yes, exactly. BigRed.com. Yes. Pornhub as well.
Why am I looking at Dave's dome? Right? All I can see is Dave's big bulbous head. There it is.
My bad.
There it is.
It's huge. Like it's hard to hide it anywhere.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I thought I had ADHD, but man, you're taking the cake today, Lunchbox.
Squirrel.
Sorry, American Axe Murder. Look at the head on that thing.
No, you can. That's where you can find us. all over the place and all in your face.
All right, now of course the way we got to end this is with the other song we were prefacing. Now you guys did a cover on your album.
Yeah.
A vinyl
We actually did
cover.
two.
There's two. Which one?
But I'm sure you're talking about.
I
I'm sure you're
went
talking about
with
Breed.
Breed. I went with Breed. Yeah, just because you told me there was a really cool story behind it, Roy. So let's go ahead.
A number of years ago, we played a gig at Chris's Club up in Vallejo. There's no like having a cover song in your repertoire and a part of your set as it is, and then realizing that one of the guys who actually plays the song is in the crowd. That'd be Ray Vegas. So Scotty, we knew Ray. Scott is like, I'm gonna ask him to play it, and we're like, you're really gonna ask him to play it? Okay. Scott went and asked him, and Ray said, yeah, I'd love to play a song, and he did the song with us. It was fucking killer. It was fun to have him on there. When we went to the studio, Scott really wanted to play that song, so he called fucking Phil. Phil was at the time said, yeah, I'd love to do it. Let's make it happen. Unfortunately, at that point, Phil had some commitments with Machine Head when we actually were in the studio to do it. But Ray said, yeah, I'll come down and do it. So Ray came down to the studios. He was down there with Jesse at the Ice Chamber and everything. We did the recording. He played fucking the lead. He played the rhythm tracks. Did backing vocals. So we actually do have fucking Ray Vegas from fucking Violence playing a Violence. It's a Violence/Torque song, but it was part of both bands. Yep. It came out really, really cool. He did the gang vocals on it, dude. It was fun, dude. So,
and now that kind of leads a little bit before you play the song into what happened the last time when we played at Toots, when we actually, the very last show that Andrew was on with us, we decided to bring Breed back out, and because I hadn't done it, I'd only done it whenever I'd go to shows or whatever when Kurt was still in the band.
We hadn't played it as that lineup.
We hadn't played it as the actual lineup that we had at the time. And it just so happened that Rob Flynn from Machine Head decided to show up to Toots, completely, obviously unannounced and everything. And there's another kind of story to that as well. But we had already put Breed in the set. And literally, I'm announcing we're doing a Violence cover. And I hear in just dead silence, and I hear, oh, shit. And it was Rob.
Better not fuck it up.
Yeah, pretty much. Better not fuck it up.
Yeah.
And pretty much what we got from it after was that we did a hell of a job. And I was told by Rob Flynn that I had my Sean Killian down very well, surprisingly. So, I mean, I take it as a win, regardless of how it is. But he's a nice guy as well. Fucking hung out with us, talked to us for a bit.
On a side note, it's cool when you play a small gig in a small town, like Toots. And there's somebody like Rob Flynn just hanging out, having a beer, watching the show, dude.
Yep.
That is how the Bay Area is. It's really cool, dude. You never know who's going to show up. Yep. You never know who's going to be there. And yeah, there's nothing like, oh yeah, we're playing in front of the guy who, at one time performed the song.
Yeah.
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 That's pretty
and on top of that, he was there throughout the whole set. I saw he was there the whole set.
I will say the Ray Vegas being there and saying,
that was,
come and play it. That's
sure. That's
yeah. He's like, yeah, give me guitar, dude. I'm down. Let's do it.
Stupid but ballsy. Let's see if that works for them, Cotton. It paid off.
It's a ballsy move. See how it works out for them.
But yeah, that was pretty much at least my little bit with Breed now, with the way it is now and the lineup we have. So, it's an interesting song nonetheless.
Well, fuck it. We're not going to talk that shit. So let's go ahead and close out this interview. Dropkick, Shame, and Sparkles, thank you for joining us this week. We appreciate it. And find First on social media. Hit them up directly so they can get you a physical hard copy, and they'll keep us all posted up in the discussion group and on their social medias, which you're all going to start following after this because we told you to. And
I have been. And I have to say this though before we leave: be safe, wear a condom, and smoke beer.
All right.
I will update you with how it goes. I get the staples pulled out Monday, so I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah, and don't forget
before and after comparison.
When this is all done, his head's going like a little head at the very end of fucking Beetlejuice.
Little sunken head, yes.
And don't forget to put that in the discussion group.
Oh, of course, I won't.
Thank you, Curse. It was great having you on. We'll have you on again. Hopefully,
Thanks,
get a part 2 to some of these stories as
So
well.
about time you had us on here,
I know,
motherfuckers. We watch as much wrestling and shit as you guys do.
Fucking Marks over here. Fucking
These
WWE Marks over here.
WWE Marks.
Hey, whoa! Don't be no WWE mark.
You're a WWE Mark, and we hate
You
you
know we
for it.
converted you, Dave. We brought you to the dark side.
Yep.
You know more New Japan shit than I do now.
Right, I was there on the 9th. Where were you?
We were
Sitting
here.
at home being pissed.
Yep.
Hey, how was ELP?
Dude, ELP and fucking who was Show had a fucking killer match, man. Show is the breakout star this year to me.
He
Like,
will be.
for real.
Once he breaks that tag team up, dude, he will be a badass, dude.
Dude, once I saw him against Ospreay at Super J Cup, holy fuck, dude, I was sleeping on Show. That cat's badass.
I don't
Anyway,
like either one of those guys. I hate Roppongi 3K. I hate Roppongi Vice. I hate them all. I hate Rocky
El
Romero.
Phantasmo,
Fuck that
dude.
guy.
El Phantasmo.
ELP.
Don't hate on Rocky.
Fuck
on
Rocky.
that note,
You know
on
what I
that note-
realized? I will tell you now. I've realized that Eddie Bravo and Rocky Romero are never in the same room together, but they sound exactly the same. So take that with what you want, or with a grain of salt. The MMA, yes, they sound almost identical. Yeah. So
Oh, shit.
I think secretly Rocky Romero is Eddie Bravo.
Remember, have to look that up. Headbanger Club, dude. Come on, Dave. Do it.
And on that conspiracy note, this is You Bleed Like Rats, the cursed version on Talking Shop with the Boss in the Box. Curse, we'll see you fucking later, dude.
We're just too sweet.
Sweet.